2020 has been a bit of a roller coaster of a year for all of us, with more lows than highs.
But we hope to brighten up the end of the year with this brand new show.
Sport is something that can really lift the mood, and with football being the national game of choice,
we are really excited to let you know about a unique collaboration between Portsmouth Football Club and the University of Portsmouth.
We bring you
Pompey Focus. On today's show, we take a look at Pompey's women's games so far this season and the most recent men's games.
We'll also be giving you an insight into the local food bank and a story of memories at Fratton Park, as well as getting to know the Pompey ladies.
Plus, we will also hear from two members of staff at Fratton Park, as well as a look ahead of what is next to come for a few matches for the teams.
So forget what you know about sports programmes, kick back and let Tiff and I give you an update on a very focused Portsmouth show.
That's right, for our very first show, we want to give you a really broad viewpoint of Pompey, and we'll be doing that using two different studio sets. At the moment, we are in the studio.
That's right, and those of you with a keen eye would have noticed over here that we've got our green screen, which conveniently allows me to jump to Fratton Park. Let's get on with things and see the most recent games of the season and take a closer look at the highlights from some of the PFC players.
Here is your latest update from all of the action Pompey have been involved with in recent weeks. A tough run of fixtures began away at Sincil Bank, home of fellow League One high flyers Lincoln City. Brian Williams managed to evade the challenges of the Lincoln midfield before delivering the ball to Marcus Harness, who laid the ball off first time for Pompey's number 9, John Marquis. Harness and Marquis was the theme of the evening once again, this cross being met by the Blues frontman to make it 2-0 to Pompey. Pompey weren't done there either. A beautiful chipped ball from Harness once again found a persistent Andy Cannon, who crafted the shot from Ryan Williams, well saved by Alex Palmer in the Lincoln goal, before Ronan Curtis found himself in the right place at the right time to drill the ball into the net for Pompey's third and a guaranteed 3 points. Next up, Pompey were hoping to do what they did in 1939 and more recently in 2008 in the FA Cup first round at Portman Road away to Ipswich Town. Ronan Curtis gave the Blue Army the best possible start on 11 minutes. Just 2 minutes after Curtis's opener, Cannon passed the ball to Captain Fantastic Tom Naylor, and Pompey found themselves 2-0 up and up for the cup. Speculated one-time Pompey target James Norwood pulled the Tractor Boys level, meaning that extra time ensued. And this ball into the mixer from Marcus Harness was met first by Naylor, then Nicolaisen, before Sean Raggett evaded the linesman's attention and gave the Blues a ticket into the second round of this season's competition. It was goals galore at Fratton Park for the visit of Crewe Alexandra. Pompey went 1-0 up when a move started by Ronan Curtis was also ended by the Irishman, John Marquis providing the assist for Ronan to steer in. And it was Curtis's sheer tenacity that gave Pompey a 2-0 lead before half-time. Pompey continued their dominance and superiority after the break, and the common equation of Tom Naylor plus edge of the area equals goal occurred once again. The Blues skipper finding his second goal in as many games. Winter is well and truly upon us. We now turn our attention to the exploits of Pompey women in recent weeks. Jay Sadler's team have also been in scintillating form, and so we started with Moneyfields versus Pompey in the Portsmouth Divisional Football Association Cup. Pompey skipper Jade Bradley firing the Blues into a 1-0 lead. Shortly afterwards, it was 2, as Ava Robotham passed the ball to Jade Widows, who slotted away past the Moneyfields keeper. After scoring Pompey's opening goal, it was time for skipper Jade Bradley to assist one, and she did, with this corner ball expertly dispatched by Pompey's number 11, Becky Barth. Pompey 3-0 up and cruising in this cup final. This searching through ball evaded nearly everyone, apart from Becky Barth, who had Jade Widows bellowing for the ball to her left, but dispatched a low left foot finish to seal the silverware for Pompey. After lifting the cup, it was a quick descent back into the FA Women's National League and the visit of Plymouth Argyle. Jade Widows was on hand to slot away the first chance of the match, giving Jay Sadler's team the fast start they were hoping for. The Blues were soon 2 goals to the good, as Danielle Rowe split the defence with a through ball so precise that Becky Bath couldn't resist the left-footed finish into the far corner. Pompey defender Laura Ingram found herself in an advanced position. A looping cross was met by Rebecca Bath for her second and Pompey's third of the afternoon. It was time for Danielle Rowe to get on the scoresheet herself, popping up at the back post and steering the ball into the top corner. Pompey weren't finished there either. This one was the pick of the final flurry of goals as Becky Bath made space before curling the ball past the keeper. Pompey's 5th and a hat-trick for Becky Bath. Next up, the Blues welcomed Gillingham to the Draper Tools Community Stadium and Pompey found themselves 1-0 down early on, before the in-form Becky Bath levelled from a Jade Bradley corner. We've got a real treat for you now, Pompey fans. Here's arguably the save of the season from Blues number 1, Hannah Horton, to keep the scores level. It proved a pivotal save in the outcome of the match. And as we got our breath back from that class save, this was followed by this from Ava Robotham in the dying embers of the game. Cue a celebratory huddle. 2-1 Pompey at full time and a big win for Sadler's troops. Play up, Pompey women.
A quick recap of the men and women's recent games. It's good to see that the lack of crowd isn't stopping the guys from scoring.
Pompey FC goes a long way to help out the community with its charity, Pompey in the Community. In 2018, it was recorded that 14.3 million people were living below the poverty line, and places like food banks are relied upon by some of these families.
Pompey in the Community worked with Hive Portsmouth to lend a helping hand with one of their food banks. They have teams of volunteers who organise and deliver food parcels to vulnerable families, some of which may be lucky enough to have a certain Alan Knight delivering to them.
I'm Claire Martin, Chief Exec of Pompey in the Community. So I've worked at Pompey in the Community for a long while now, and perhaps for 10 years we've been looking at somewhere where we can build a pitch and call it home. So for this opportunity to come along bang smack in the middle of the city is something that, you know, we'd never imagined. So we are so excited about the potential that this has got to offer us. So the site at the moment is 7 acres. Where the buildings are currently is going to be flats and housing, which basically pays for the developer to then gift Pompey in the Community the remaining 6 acres. On those 6 acres there'll be a pitch staying where the grass pitch is at the moment, which will be the Stadia pitch, which will be 3G. In the middle, between the 2 buildings, will be the community hub with the changing facilities, the stand, the gym, the classrooms, the community cafe on top. And that community cafe will look out on the community pitch, which will be the far side, which again will be a full-size 3G. And then behind the community hub, we've also got plans for a five-a-side, a sort of mugger, so younger children, our tots, and smaller groups will again be able to play in a more enclosed area. The new stadium will be named after John Jenkins, who was a D-Day veteran, worked at the club for years and years as a volunteer, right up until he was 97. He was the boardroom steward, carried on attending every match until he was 99. He just summed up everything that's great about the city and just gives us real pride in being able to remember him. There's been plenty of challenges in the development. Obviously, you know, there's all sorts of considerations. Got everything just about over the line and then COVID hit, so obviously funding is challenging at the moment. The Football Foundation have guaranteed some funding. We've got a lot that we've found, but obviously, you know, building it is one thing, fitting it out is another. So yeah, I think probably funding has been the biggest challenge recently. There are going to be so many benefits to having a new facility. At the moment, our college programme, our BTEC programme, the 3 teams play at Alton as their home matches. We have development teams, boys and girls, on a Saturday. Their home ground is over in Bay House in Gosport. So every week, you know, we're training all over the place. We're also spending a huge amount of money on hiring facilities elsewhere. So to have a real home for Pompey in the Community, it'll be great. I think for the community activity, having pitches and classrooms and a community cafe all on the same site is great. At the moment, if we're offered funding and an opportunity, we have to think about, can we actually deliver it? Where will we be delivering? Because there aren't the facilities on the island, in the city, that enable us to deliver projects in the way that we know that we can. So this not only financially will offer us a future, but also to the breadth of programs that we'll be able to deliver. So, there are no end to the opportunities that this will present. The FA have just done their playing pitch strategy, which showed there was a 7-pitch deficit. So that means if they built 7 3G pitches, they would all be full. So you can imagine from day one, the facility will be buzzing. We're hoping to begin construction in spring 2021, so next year. It's about a year's build, slightly more, so hopefully by 2022 and the beginning of that season, we'll be playing at home here in Portsmouth. There are so many thank yous really for this project, and I guess the first is Moneyfields. Approaching us to partner with them in this is really exciting. The Football Foundation are offering a tremendous amount of funding towards it. And I think then, it's going to be everybody else who gets involved. We've done a crowdfunder already. We're going to have other opportunities for people to really get involved. So I think basically the whole of the city is to be thanked for supporting the planning application and for seeing what really could be a massive opportunity for everybody.
Wow, that was so great to see so many volunteers getting stuck in, wasn't it, Josh?
I know, it's good to see everyone coming together.
Definitely.
And a special thank you to Claire for organising and for keeping that team well oiled. But despite the lockdown and fans not being able to gather together, we still have the means to communicate via video conferencing.
And that's why we're going to use to take a look at different generations who clearly love Portsmouth Football Club.
My name's Tommy Grant and I've been a Pompey supporter since birth. My mum was given a selection of hospitals and my dad was insistent that it was St Mary's Hospital because that was the one closest to Fratton Park, and after I was born, within a few hours, my dad brought me up to the window to show me the floodlights of Fratton Park. So I've always been sort of within Portsmouth Football Club.
My name is Gary Gordon and I've been a Pompey supporter full time. I guess the majority of my time on this planet, all of 50 plus years now. I was talked into becoming a Pompey fan really by my sister. Bought a season ticket. I had me to get one.
My earliest memory was I had been to matches before, but my earliest fondest memory was I was once a mascot for Pompey.
I can remember going to my first ever Pompey game. My uncle bribed the guy on the gate to get me in. We beat Gillingham 3-2. That's all I can remember, very casually, standing in the south stand, watching them. It was all standing, it was freezing cold. I was in the south stand, right at the bottom, right at pitch level. If anybody remember those days, we scored the winning penalty at the Milton end, and that was uncovered at the time. A cold day, a Pompey win, and watching the game from basically ground level. That's what I remember.
The noise, loudness. It was. I just remember I was sort of taken back by how consistent the noise was for 90 minutes. You have like a 15-minute breather at half time, but then it's just consistent singing and shouting, and it's just sort of, at times it's sort of, I remember being so young I had to cover my ears because I was almost intimidated by it.
What a lovely story about such dedicated football fans. We hope you guys keep safe and we'd love to see you at the next game. If you do want to share your stories, then get in touch with us by tweeting at Pompey or by contacting info@pompeyfc.co.uk. And to stay in touch with us and with our players and to get to know them more, we've got exclusive behind the scenes moments. If you've been keeping a close eye on how Pompey women's team have been playing this season, you'll have seen how well those home girls are performing. I think it's time to get to know some of their characters a little better.
So if you've ever wondered which member of the Portsmouth women's team is most likely to stay in bed and miss training, then you're in luck, as we sat down with the team and asked them on who's most likely to.
So I'm Hannah Horston and I play in goal for Portsmouth Women. There's quite a few people, but I would say that Jazz mostly takes control of the music. I mean, controversially, not always the best music, but no, she always gets the change room going. Doesn't matter what mood anybody's in, she always gets everybody up and has a vast range as well. Oh, that's a tough one. There's quite a few of them that take their fashion quite well. Best dressed, or probably be JB, possibly Beck. Yeah, I'd go for one of those two, I think. I'll go with the one this season. I think it's got to be the winner against Gillingham in like the 90-something minute. Like, no, it was earlier than that, I think. Yeah, maybe about the 82nd.
Wow.
It's come just to the edge of the box. We're currently drawing 1-1. And Hayley set it back for Ava, and we'll go with that she's deliberately shot from about 30 yards away.
Oh,
I won't say it's a cross on here, but it's just floated into the top left corner. Absolute scenes when it went off, absolute scenes. Well, the training session before lockdown, some of the coaches took part, and Jay, our manager, is running for the ball, and the ball's gone off the pitch, and he hasn't seen like the 7-a-side goal that's just off from the side of it, and he's carried on running and smashed completely straight into it and just flopped on the floor.
Wow.
That was that's got to be the moment so far. In a desert, who would survive longest in the desert? I'm going to go Rosie Mack, purely based on she's in the Navy, she's quite tough, and probably out of all of us is probably one of the only ones that could pretty much survive on her own. Couple of players, I would say Jazz is definitely in there for that. Ingram's in there, she loves a bit of the banter. Yeah, one of those two. And Tam's absolutely hilarious. Like, if you need any one-liners or anything like that, like Tam, you got to go to.
Finally, we're going to take a look at what is to come next for Portsmouth Football Club.
Firstly, we're looking at the upcoming Portsmouth versus Fleetwood Town match with kick-off at 7:45 on Tuesday the 15th of December at Fratton Park. With the game being under 2 weeks away, we're keen to see if Pompey can obtain the win after their draw earlier this year at Fratton Park. With the Blues conceding an early goal from Barry McKay, we saw a strong Pompey reaction as Sean Raggett levelled the tie at 1-1 after converting a cross in the 36th minute. With Fleetwood's centre-back Harry Souttar scoring an own goal shortly after half-time, the team set up their offensive formation, giving Souttar the chance to make amends and level the score just 7 minutes later, leaving the match to end in a 2-2 draw. As we have seen throughout the season, Pompey are adapting and overcoming many obstacles that could affect the team. With the previous game revealing Fleetwood's strengths, we should expect to see a similar 4-2-3-1 formation, with Pompey utilising their strong attacking players to break through Fleetwood's defensive line. The Blues are more confident than ever with goalkeeper Craig Mcgilvery, back to his best and producing some fine displays which have drawn plaudits from fans and pundits alike in recent weeks. But will Mcgilvery's impressive performances so far this season be enough to secure the win against such strong League One opposition? With the season off to a whirlwind start, we've seen the Blues' performances skyrocket, with many star players emerging from the lineup. One player that continues to boost the team up the table is attacking midfielder Ronan Curtis. So far this season, Curtis has delivered 4 goals and amassed 2 assists, earning him a call-up to the Republic of Ireland's senior international squad. As the season progresses, it's clear that we should continue to expect great things from him as Pompey fans. We also have the Sky Bet League One match versus Accrington Stanley approaching fast, with the match scheduled for 3 o'clock on Saturday the 2nd of January at the Crown Ground Stadium. With this fixture ending Pompey's long unbeaten run last season, it was evident the Blues had to make some changes to their lineup. As Accrington Stanley matched Pompey's 50% possession of the ball, we saw the threat that their strong 4-4-2 formation posed, as the team used their 2 skilled forwards to their advantage. With the Blues' Ronan Curtis scoring from a dangerous cross in the 35th minute and Accrington Stanley's midfielder Seamus Connolly sending a cross into the corner of the box, deflecting off Craig Mcgilvery and into the net. Continuing into the second half, Accrington Stanley continued their aggressive attacking intent, with Coy and Bishop earning the team another 3 goals, leaving the final score 4-1 to Accrington. Pompey are a team in constant training, and we have seen the immense progression of Marcus Harness and his incredible performances in the attacking midfield positions. While we saw the end of an era with the departure of Pompey's Mr. Versatile Gareth Evans, Harness has been revitalised in his role just off of the main striker. With such an aggressive start to the season, the team has stepped up their game, forcing their way up the table. One notable player is the Blues goalkeeper Craig Mcgilvery, who has just made his 100th cap for Pompey since joining the club in the summer of 2018. So far this season, Mcgilvery has been in the starting formation for 18 matches and has a brilliant 68.3% save success rate, whilst already achieving 5 clean sheets so far. As the season progresses, we expect yet another fantastic season from Craig Mcgilvery.
Future is looking bright, but that is it, everyone. We hope you'll be back to see our next fixture, where we'll tackle different areas of the Pompey ecosystem. We hope we've managed to bring you a bit of light in these troubled times, and in the process provided an insight that has been worth your time.
By all means, your thoughts on this new show via PFC's social media channels mean so much to us, so links are on screen now, and we will see you again in the new year with more stories, more insight, and hopefully we'll be talking about return to normality.
That's it for today. Thanks for joining us. All that's left to say, play up, Pompey.
Pompey, play up.